walk had been exhilarating, and she'd wanted to return. But now she remembered other aspects of that walk. At the time, they'd only added to the fascination of the place, giving an eerie extra dimension to its beauty. The open moorland was dotted with prehistoric barrows, cairns and stone formations, an epitaph to those who had once lived and died in these high spaces. Their walk had culminated in a visit to Hobhurst's house, an ancient barrow mound on Harland Edge. Sheena, who made a point of reading up on the places they visited, had told her it was thought to be of Bronze Age origin, and that the rectangular shape of the barrow was unusual. She'd probably said much more, but Annie recalled no further details, except that the name of the barrow referred to some kind of sprite or hobgoblin, or perhaps to the devil. As they emerged from the trees onto the open moorland, she stopped and looked around, already able to identify the undulations that mark the sites of barrows and burial mounds. From where she was standing, the land fell away across the moorland, opening up to the Derwent Valley and the Chatsworth estate to their left. It was a glorious spring day, with only a few white clouds dotting the clear blue of the surrounding sky, but a sharp breeze was blowing from the east, and she found herself shivering. Gary and Zoe were waiting for her at the end of the path. Zoe still looked tense, but there was no other sign of any disagreement between the couple. "You okay, Zoe?" she asked. "Just a bit cold suddenly." Zoe was gazing around her. "Funny old place this, isn't it? I'd forgotten." "Striking views," Gary offered. "Definitely that." Annie looked back. On the path behind she saw the two bikers, who had removed their leathers and were strolling along in sweatshirts, shorts and walking boots. She half expected they might say something as they passed, but they were deep in conversation. "But the burial mounds," Zoe was saying, "don't you find them a bit creepy?" Gary stared out across the moor, as if evaluating what she had said. "They're only bones." "You two just ignore me. I'm in one of my weird moods. Let's get a breath of air, then we can go and get some lunch." They continued along the path, occasionally encountering other walkers who invariably nodded an amicable greeting. It ought to be hard to be spooked on a day like this, Annie thought, with the sun shining and the whole Peak District thronged with visitors. If they'd come on a dank November day with a mist lying heavily across the moor, it might feel rather different. They eventually reached Hobhurst's house. As far as Annie could see, there was little left, other than a broadly rectangular arrangement of stones, largely overgrown with bracken and heather. Gary stopped by the English Heritage sign. "Probably built around 1000 BC, apparently," he said, "though some people think it might be later." "What is it?" Annie was looking past him, out to the open moorland. "What's going on over there?" Zoe and Gary turned to follow her gaze. "Where?" "There. It's those two bikers." "Bikers? What are they up to?" The bikers were 100 or so yards away from them, standing among the heather, apparently engaged in a heated discussion. One of them was pulling the other's arm, as if trying to force him to look at something. The second biker gave an odd cry and dragged himself away, turning his back on whatever his companion was showing him. A moment later, he was doubled over, vomiting into the undergrowth. "I'm going to check everything's all right," Annie said. She was already on her way, striding unstoppably across the moor. As she drew closer, she saw the first biker look up at her, his expression a mix of fear and disgust. "Is everything okay?" she called. The sun was high in the clear sky, throwing the grassland into sharp relief. She could see something on the ground beside the bikers, an object largely hidden by the undergrowth. "I don't think you'd better," the biker said. "We need to get some help." He gestured towards Gary, who had been following behind her with Zoe in his wake. "Maybe your friend there can help us deal with it." Annie was almost tempted to laugh. From what Zoe had told her, Gary had many good qualities, but providing practical support wasn't generally one of them. "What is it?" The second biker was still dry heaving, having apparently emptied his stomach of that morning's breakfast. It was only as she drew almost level with the two bikers that she finally saw it, half concealed among the heather. The breeze was blowing towards her, and there was no mistaking the stench, even in the open air.